So welcome back to another lesson on the RSA software. So far we've covered some basic topics. You can check out the other lessons in the link above. In this lesson, we shall look at how to create a simple structural model from an AutoCAD file. We shall be modeling a typical 5-story structure. The AutoCAD file is in the link in the video description, so just go ahead and pause the video and download it. There are multiple ways of generating a structural model. You can either reuse data from other software such as Revit and AutoCAD, or you can use extensions to generate the model. Since AutoCAD is the most common software, reusing its data is more simpler. So enough with the introduction, let's get to it. So we begin by defining the stories. Go to this option here, structure stories. So it mentioned we are dealing with 5-story structures. So I'll take, of course, building base level, set it to 0. This is where the ground level will begin. And then define the structure graphically. No, I'm going to define it manually. So I'm going to take a typical height of 2.85. So beginning the first one, you just clear everything here. So the reference level is 0. We want the first floor, the second floor, the third floor, the fourth floor, then the roof. Those are 5 floors. So you just write 5. Then you can determine the numbering of the stories. So it can be just story 1 up to the last story, or you can define it. For example, I can decide to call it just floor. Then if I write 1, automatically when I click add, it will rewrite the others. So floor 1 to floor 5, as you can see. Then the floor coloring, this is something useful. Just we shall use it later on, as you will see. Then apply. So once that is done, you can see it's populated here. Next, we want to import the AutoCAD file. So just go to File, Import, DXF, then Tutorial, Floor Plan, open it up. So now in this case, you just have to determine where you want to import it and the layers and the properties of this AutoCAD file. So its units are in millimeters. We want to import it in the XY plane. The reference point, this is now where I want it to be at. So just want it to remain at 0, 0. The insertion point, I want it to remain at that point for now. Let me just apply it so that I can see it. Oh, I'm not in the right. It's supposed to be in the plan view. Yeah, that's why I was wondering where it goes. So that's it. So let me just select it. I want to do some bit more editing. So object properties. I want to remove some layers so that I can be able to begin the modeling process. I don't want the beam right now, the column grids, these depth points. Just want the column grids to be displayed so that I can draw the reference grid. So that's it for this case here. When you're talking about the reference point, this is just a point within the drawing that shall be used as an anchor, or another point within the imported file that shall be used as an anchor. The insertion point, this is where you insert the imported file. For example, we're at 0, 0. So as you can see, this square here, this is now the reference point. So it has been inserted at 0, 0. So for the scaling factor, I won't change it because I have already stated that the units are in millimeters, so there's no point of changing it. So that's it. Those are the most important ones. Then you just select the layers that you wish to display, then OK. Now I want to go and create the structural grids. So go to axis definition. I'm going to use this as a reference to just draw the axis. So for the x-axis, these are the lines going from left to right, or rather running from, not running actually. These are lines, this line, this line, this line, the lines which are going from down to up but are arranged from left to right. So let's begin with this one. I'll just select, I'll hover around it until I get to its point. Select it, like that. I move to the next one, like that. Once I'm done, I go to the y-axis. So I'm going to change the numbering here for it to be ABCD so that it can't confuse them with the X values. So I do the same. Just zoom in like that. Selecting these points can be problematic, but you can just check them. So as you can see, if I click on a point that I had already clicked on, it won't be added. Yeah, that's the last one. So for the Z-axis, I've already defined the floors, so there's no need for adding anything. So I just apply like that. So the lines have been created. Next up, we're going to define the sections. So as you can see, the building is for a slab of 150 millimeters. And then the main beams are just 200 by 500. Then we're going to have some flat beams running under the or within the slabs of just 1000 by 150. Then the columns will be 200 by 600. So let's go ahead and define them. So I go to these member sections. So I had cleared mine so that I can just demonstrate how to create them. So we just click on this new. Then we're dealing with reinforced concrete, so you can begin with the RC beam like that. So I can just define them. So the first one, 200 by 500. So I can change the naming also. I don't want it to be this long. I can just say B1 perhaps for the main beam. Then I pick concrete strength. I can pick it from here. I can decide class 2025. Then add. Then I pick the other flat beam that is 150 by 1000. So the breadth is 1000. The depth is 150. Not written 1000. Yeah, like that. Then I can write it as B2. Then just add. Then we change. You go to RC column. Course rectangular column. Then we can change the breadth to be 200 by 600. I can just name it C1 because I think we just have one of it, so we just keep it C1 so that it's simple. Then the strength 2025, add it, then like that. So there's an option here, label manager. Let me just go through it, demonstrate it. And this is in the case where you had already saved some sections, perhaps in your previous projects, and you want to reuse them. So what you will do, you will transfer them. For example, for this project, we have created these three. So I can decide that I'll be using this commonly. So I can just transfer them to this side. So this is a beam. If I open here, then just select it. So as you can see, it's already here. And these are other sections which I had defined previously, so I can decide to use them in the project, so I can just transfer them like that, but I won't be using them, so I just delete that. So you can do this for beams, all types of materials, or all types of things you'll be defining within the software. So as you can see, there are multiple things you can define and save. Let me just close it. So we move ahead. Let me make sure I've not cleared anything here. Yeah. So we move ahead and just define the slabs. So go to thickness. This is where we define the walls and the slabs. So click on new thickness definition. So in this case, we'll be using a slab of 150 millimeters. So I can just say, we just give it a simple name, floor 150, like that. Then of course a constant thickness. If you're dealing with matte foundations, you can now select this for foundation elasticity, but you won't be dealing with that here. So that's it. Then let me just change the material strength, concrete 225. Then I add it, then I close. Then now we want to define, or rather to draw the elements that we've created here. So I'll begin with the columns. So I just select the reference file. I can either do that here, I can just go here to the backgrounds, just select it, then right click on this outside here, then object properties. So I want the layer for the columns to be indicated. Perhaps I don't want the grids. Apply, so like that, so you can only view the columns. As you can see, the columns are in different orientations, so we'll have to set them out in that manner. Beginning, go to here, columns, specify RC. So as you can see, the one we had defined before. And then we check the floor that you're in. So we're in the first floor. So in the first floor, we want column of height 2.85 meters going downwards, so it's set correctly. So we just begin by just selecting a point like that. So as you can see, it's oriented differently. So let's just modify it so that we can copy it. So you select it, then go to the object properties here. Look at this gamma. This is the angle of orientation, so you can just pick 90 like that. Then you can also decide to select it, go to this move or copy option, so you can get it either here, or if you click on this edit icon, you still get these options. Just click move or copy, then it will ask you, so either you're going to copy or move it. So we're going to move, then you define the translation vector. So the translation vector, we just identify a point. For example, maybe perhaps take this corner point. This is one thing that is a bit difficult to identify. You have to be very, very precise if you want the best accuracy. So I just want to move this figure here. It won't allow me to select it completely. That's annoying, but I can try. Select it from here. Like that. So it's fitted in correctly. So I close that. I select the whole thing. I go back to the copy option now. Then identify the vector. Select this vector. So I want to copy it from this point to this point. Then immediately I copy it. There's a new one here, and the new one is the one which is now selected. So I define the vector once more from this point to this point. So the same I do here. Then this is the last one, so I do the same thing like that. Then I close. So now I've drawn these three. So I can decide to even just select all of them, then copy them again. So the vector is moving from this point to this point. So it's center. I want it's the center, this one, to move to this point. Then as you can see, there are some which are oriented in the opposite direction, but that's not a problem. So I close it. Go identify the ones which are oriented differently. Perhaps I select all of them. Then I go to the gamma, we'll set it to 0 like that. Then we can do the same, we can copy these two. Identify the vector from this point to this point, like that. Very close. What else do we need to figure out? We need to move this one. So we need to move these three. So I'll just go ahead and select it. Press Shift. Select these two. Then I do the same. Copy. So identify the vector. So I want this center to move to this center, like that. Then these ones, they look similar to these ones at the top, so I can just select these ones at the top, copy them. So I identify the translation vector, I move here. To this point, like that. Then also do the same. So I go back here, click on this one to just define the vector once more. In the case this one is not at the center, so I can just, as you can see there, giving me some guides. If I go to the center here, it has already shown me that's the point I need. So I click on that. That's it. So I hope I have defined all the columns. Let's just check. Go to the View tab. Go to the click on Home. So I can decide to move the floor plan down just a bit so that I can view it from the bottom. So I select it, go to Object Properties. I think I'd set it at the first floor. I need to be at the ground level so that I can use it. Okay, like that. I want to be able to view it. So clicking on this just allows you to view separate floors. So let me just turn on the layers so that I can view other things. Like that, the beams. I want to make sure that I have drawn everything. So the columns, actually I need to just remain with the columns. Apply. So the color, so I can decide to look at it. You can see there's a color here, light yellow or orange, not sure. So just to make sure all of them have been filled up. Yeah, that's it. So next up, we move to the beams. So I go back to the Plan tab, then click on Beams. I will specify RC beam 1, that was the main beam. So in this case I'm going to just modify, or rather turn on the layer for beams, like that, so I can view it. Then for the beams, the options are quite simple. So we're drawing horizontal beams, then this drag option just allows us to continuously draw the beams, which is much faster. So I select it. Then I'm going to begin from here. So I can choose this point or this point. Let me just if I choose this point, there will be some eccentricity. If I choose this point, I'll be adding a new node, some sort. But all the same, there will still be another node here. So let me just continue with it. I can decide to just take it from there to here. Like beginning with the main beams, or rather the beams which have the supports at the columns, so that when I'm modeling the internal beams, or the beams which don't have all their supports or either of the supports at the columns. At least I already have the beams which will support them. So like that. Then we continue, move to this column here, move to this column, move to this one, move to this one, then move to this one, so once I've done that, I can click on escape so that I can start again. So I'll go to these beams here, from here to here, to this point, to this point, to this point, escape, start again, from here to here, to here, that, then I start over here again. So you click escape, then you just start again. Like that. Now you can look at these beams running this way. So there are beams here which have supports already. So I start with them. So the more you do this, the more you just get used to it. That's a good thing. So you look for another one like here. I think we are done with the beams with supports at the columns. So begin modeling these other beams. So we can begin with this one. So the support is here to here to here to here, then finally there. Click on escape. Look for another one, this one here, to this point, to this point, to this point, to that point. Click on escape. So yeah, there's a beam here, so we'll begin from here, here, this point, that point. So we click on escape. So I'm looking for, there's another one here. So from here to here, then lastly here. Click on escape. So I don't know if I've missed another. So you can move on to the flat beam. Just select it down here. Flat beams are moving from here to here to here and skip, set these other ones from here to here to here, this point, this point, this point, that point. So that's the last one, hopefully. So I click escape, I close it. So when you zoom in, you find that sometimes it's congested like that. So if you want to just clear it up, you can either use page up or page down. Click on page down, it reduces the font size. That's too small, but if I now zoom in, at least it's a bit neat. I can click page up to just enlarge it a bit. So let's go to the view tab to just see how it looks like. Then these are just lines and lines. So if you need to see the sections, click on these section shapes. So that's how it looks like. Then you can just hold the shift button and the right mouse and just move the mouse to see how it looks like. Yeah, that's neat. So let's go and model the slabs. And remember, there are staircases, so shall have to be careful with that. So let's go to plan. So when you go to floors, so you're just going to keep this also. Then there's a model here, or rather a way in which the floor is going to be considered. So there are several ways here. You can look at them, but we're going to choose this. This is actually a custom one I've made. It's just a modification of this one. In our case, if you want to use this one, since the software is a finite element software, it will not allow us to design the slab if we use it this way. So I converted it into a shell. Let me just show you something here. These are the options. So when it's just load takedown, of course a two-way slab is what we want. But now when we consider it's no finite element, it's just going to be used to transfer the loads. There's not going to be any considerations for design. So when I select this finite element, that's when now it changes, so that it can allow us to design. The rest of the settings are perhaps more self-explanatory depending on what you want to do. So let's just continue. So I pick this one. This one now, the only difference, you can check it out, is this. I've just added shell onto it so that it can be designable within the software. So there are several ways you can add it, or perhaps pick points in which the slab will be located. So you can use contour. This is the case where the slab is not really defined as a rectangle. Then you can, of course, the rectangle is just going to pick 3 points which are going to draw the rectangle. Then the circular one, now this is more complex. It's going to be, of course, a circular looking slab with other parameters involved. So I'm just going to pick contour because we have voids where the staircase will be found. So I begin from here. Select this as the first point. I move all the way here because there's a, what do you call it, a landing here, and the staircase, there's a beam here just surrounding it. Then you move this way. So I'm just picking the points where the slab is going to lie around, like that, like that. And finally like that. So as you can see, it's been modeled. Now let's go to the view tab, just see it more clearly. As you can see, it looks like a kind of transparent cladding of sorts, but if you wish to see its thickness, you can go to view, then look at display. Now go to panels, then just tick this panel thickness and apply, then OK. So now the panel is more defined. Now we cannot see it here because it's lying within the beam. There's a way we can now move the beam, even the beams to be the same level, or rather they are the top surface of the beams to be the same level as the slabs, but I won't do it right now. I'll show you how to do it later. The next step, I want to draw the staircase, and this one is a bit tricky, but we'll have to do it. So beginning, we go to just the axis definition. I want to start by first creating a level where the landing will be. So the story height is 2.85, so I'm just going to pick half of it. Don't think I can remember it offhand. Let me just calculate it. 1.425. So I'm going to pick a distance of 1.425. Then just perhaps give it a name. I'm going to name it ST staircase, perhaps ST level, something of that kind. Then I add it, so like that. I'm just going to take one, then I apply, then I close it. So I'll go to the plan first just to check out the conditions or how it looks like. So we have the landing at this point, as you can see. Then we have the staircase here, the waists going to be running here. Then one thing I want to add also is just a reference line here to allow me to draw the landing correctly. So I'm going to add another grid. So I click on this. This is the y axis, so I go to y. I'm just going to add another grid here where the waist is ending, like that. Then apply it. So you have another line here. That's nice. So I'm just going to use this to help us to draw. So go back to the view tab and just rotate it a bit so that you can view it. So we have the ST level here. You can close or turn off the section shapes so that we can see it more clearly. So I want to begin the staircase running from this point, going up, then this other one going this way, or we can decide this one is the one going up, then this one is meeting this other, the first floor. So we select the floor option since it's going to be a floor, but now we're just going to change this. It's going to be horizontal. I'd prefer it to be rectangle so that things are a bit more easier. So I begin it perhaps from here. So I select this, it's the first one, then this is the second one. Then as I move, as you can see, it's already trying to show me. So just make sure I'm on the level of ST right here, like that, and I click on it that way. Then while I'm in this ST level, I can make sure it's horizontal once more so that I do the landing. Just make sure it's in the right path, like that. That's nice. And I go back, close this horizontal. So I select this point. Just make sure I'm doing the right thing. Yeah, like that. And I draw it here, so like that. So if you happen to find a better way of doing it, you can just show me, or rather tell me how you can do it in the comment section. But this is how I found myself doing it most of the time. And so we close. So you can do this on the other side also. But I was not supposed to close. Let me just do it again. So still at move that. So I select this, and then make sure I'm within the level that I had created. So I can, if you can't see it, you can use this guide here. It can show you at what grid you're in, or rather what position in the model space you're in. So I want to be at 1.425, yeah, 1.43, like that. Then I create the landing. I've selected the wrong point. Problem is I have to close it so that I do it again. So make sure that level. Hopefully I've picked the right. I've drawn it. It has extended too much. Just Control Z. So being able to see it is a problem, but we'll just do it once more. So make sure we're at 1.43, like that. Oh, I picked a circle. It's the wrong one. So go there. Go there. Then lastly, like that. So hopefully I've done it correctly this time. Yeah. Let's do now the last one. Like that. Then close it. So you can view it, just click on left. That's how it looks like. So we've modeled all the geometry within the structure. If I can decide if I wish to now perhaps model the same for the other stories, I might not need to redo it over and over. So what I do, I go to flow, I right click on it, move to stories, then I copy the contents. So there are how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 4 floors to be copied. Then OK. So automatically it does that for me, as you can see. Okay, so we're also going to add beams onto the landings here to make sure they can just be supported. So go to the plan. Actually forgot to do this. It's a large structure, so it might take some time. So we're going to move to the landing level. So as you can see, I want a beam right here. So just select beams. Beam 1. I'm just going to use the beam we created. Add it there. Like that. And I'm going to do the same for this. Just add it here. At least this one is a bit shorter. Then we're going to close it. Then we're going to select these 2 beams to have created. So that one, I can just it's beam number 473. This one must be 474. So I can just go ahead and write it here. 474. Like that. So I've selected 2 beams. Now to copy them to the other floors. So still on the first floor, I copy contents of the story, perform the selected objects alone. So 4 floors up. Then OK. Nice. Then another thing, I just want to just show you how to pull the beam downwards so that they can be on the same level with the slabs. So go to the objects of a model, select beams, just right click, then select all. Then on the object properties, look for offsets. So we want the upper flange to go down. Nice, like that. So now it's on the same level with the slabs. You can even now view it from a different side. Now it looks even more neater. Yeah, that's good. So that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to look at how to create loads and load cases so that we can go on and begin the design phase. If you found this video useful, you can just like and subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video.